What if I told you that I was going to sell a carbonated drink that was half the size of a can of Coke, cost twice as much, and tasted awful? Well, if you were an investor or anybody with half a brain, you would obviously tell me I was insane. But what I just described to you was Red Bull. The value of Red Bull doesn't exist within the comparison of other products in the marketplace, but the value of Red Bull is created within the mind of the consumer. This is alchemy in marketing. Today, I'm going to show you how there is alchemy in marketing and how you can increase the perceived value of your brand in the minds of your consumers. Let's jump into it. So a lot of the concepts that I'm going to cover here today are included in one of my favorite marketing books called Alchemy by Rory Sutherland. Rory covers a lot of concepts on the psychology of marketing and how you can increase your perceived value and how a lot of brands are actively increasing their perceived value in the marketplace without spending any money at all. So I highly encourage you to give that book a read. But let's jump into some of the concepts on how you can increase the perceived value of your brand by utilizing certain psychological tactics. So the first concept is to focus on perception rather than reality. And one of the best examples I can provide for you on this is comparing an iPhone to an equivalent Samsung phone. Now, although the Samsung phone may actually have better specifications, it may have a better camera, it may have a faster processor, it may have more memory, it may have a higher resolution screen. In the general perception of products for most consumers, the iPhone is a much more superior product and a much more premium product. The difference is Apple and their products are also a social status. They communicate something different than just being an educated consumer. The idea here is Apple is strongly correlated with a high amount of disposable income. Apple products are much more expensive, even if they may not be the superior phone from a technical perspective. What Apple's been able to achieve is they produce products on the level of a Toyota, but they have the perceived value of a Ferrari. And really, no other brand has been able to achieve this. So they've been able to create alchemy to create a higher perceived value in the mind of the consumer, even if the product isn't technically superior. And that's really all marketing is. What you're trying to do is communicate to consumers a certain perspective. And that's why Apple has been so successful, and that's why Apple is so valuable, is because they have created a certain perspective within the mind of the consumer. And this leads us directly into our second concept, which is to truly understand the consumer behavior. What really great marketers understand is that consumers make purchasing decisions emotionally. It's not always the logical decision. And really what you need to understand to be a better marketer is that consumers make certain buying decisions not simply based on does it have XYZ, does it meet my needs, and is it the lowest cost option? Consumers really try to focus on how is this product align with the type of person that I want to be. So really great marketers, what they do is they don't make the product the hero of their brand, they make their consumers the hero of their brand. And you can see this implemented across countless successful brands. For example, Nike, they don't focus on how their specific training shoe will make you run 10 times faster or jump 20% higher. What they do is they say the best people in the world wear shoes like these. So if you want to be the best in the world, you should wear these. And again, same thing with Apple. They don't necessarily focus on all the technical specs, maybe during their presentations when they launch a product, but even still, all the videos and advertising that go along with those launches, they show families being connected through FaceTime. They show creative people creating amazing websites or amazing designs with their MacBook computers. The idea here is consumers want to be a certain type of person. They want to try to achieve something greater. And the best brands in the world are the ones that try to assist them in becoming that better version of themselves. The next concept, which I think is very appropriate for any company that's selling online, is whether brands are putting a focus on packaging and what the experience is for when a consumer actually receives your product for the first time. And the reason this is so important for us that sell online is because the actual first physical touch point that they have with your product is when they receive it from UPS or any delivery service, right? So what is the actual experience once they get it? Now, think of examples such as Apple. Again, the whole process of actually opening any of Apple's products. There are some theories around there that it's actually intentionally slowed so that it's somewhat of a tension built to reveal their beautiful product. Another example is with Five Guys burgers. When you receive that bag, it's covered in grease because it's overflowing with the amount of fries that they put in the bag. This process invokes a certain response to the consumer. They're getting this overfilled, amazing experience of juicy, incredible French fries and burgers. That this is all intentional. And what I'm saying is it's important for you to understand that packaging plays a significant role in how consumers perceive your brand. So be sure to understand that psychology plays a significant role, not just in how you present yourself online and how you're marketing yourself, but that first physical touch point. So maybe spend a little bit more on specific packaging, make the consumer feel special when they're opening your product. Because keep in mind, as sellers online, we only have one first experience when they actually receive the product. So let's try to spend the time to increase that perceived value when they actually receive your product after they order it online. So these are just 3 ways in which psychology plays a significant role in the perception of your brand and your product and in marketing overall. But if this is a concept that you really find interesting, I highly encourage you to read Rory's book. It covers a lot of concepts in a lot more detail, and it gives a lot of great examples, and it's a really fun read. He's a great guy. You can watch a lot of podcasts that he does too, so I highly recommend that. But just remember, psychology and marketing plays a significant role in your brand's perception and the consumer and how they feel about your product can be adjusted and can change based on how successful you are with marketing. So I hope you use some of these concepts. I hope you read that book, and I hope you try to increase the perceived value of your brand in the mind of the consumer. I'll see you in a week.